It began with laughter. The Threx Dominion had long considered themselves the apex of galactic power. Their fleets stretched across 100 systems, their banners draped over shattered worlds. They believed every species had its place, some to rule, many to serve, and the unfortunate remainder to be extinguished. When they first encountered humans, the Dominion scoffed. A young species, bold enough to colonize a few stars, arrogant enough to believe in diplomacy, and naive enough to trust alien words. The Threx admired one thing about them, though: their persistence. Like weeds, humans spread. So the Dominion decided to make an example. On the garden world of Alethea Prime, 500,000 human settlers built cities beside silver rivers and fields that glowed under twin suns. Families grew there, planting roots deeper than they had on any other world. When the Dominion's battlecruisers dropped from FTL into the skies above, they gave no warning. The bombardment began at dawn. Alethea burned. The sky was streaked with fire as orbital lances split continents. Cities were reduced to glass. The Dominion recorded the devastation and transmitted it across the galaxy. A message wrapped in screams. When the last dome collapsed, when the rivers boiled and the atmosphere choked with ash, the Threx Admiral gave the order to silence all signals. The survivors were hunted: children, farmers, miners, doctors, all erased. The Dominion laughed, and across the galaxy, every power listened to that laugh. Songs of arrogance in the great halls of Dominion High Command. The admirals drank to their victory. Humans, they sneered, are creatures of noise. They shout about honor, about peace, about rights. They believe their words matter, but silence will break them. Always. They raised their chalices and toasted to ashes. Around the Galactic Council, envoys of lesser empires nodded nervously. None had seen humans at war, only at negotiation tables. They were builders, talkers, always seeking compromise. Surely, the Dominion reasoned, this would crush their spirit. Other empires whispered, perhaps Earth will retreat. Perhaps they will learn humility. Perhaps they are too civilized to avenge themselves. The Dominion reveled in that belief. To them, Earth was fragile glass, a loud but breakable thing. And when glass shatters, it never mends. So the Threx sang their songs of arrogance, oblivious to the silence that followed. The stillness before the storm, when the transmissions of Alethea's destruction reached Earth. No reply came, no speeches, no threats, no pleas. The United Terran Assembly met in quiet chambers, their faces carved in stone. Survivors from other colonies begged for words, for condemnation, for promises. Instead, humanity gave them silence, and that silence stretched. Weeks passed. Fleets of other species continued their trade, their wars, their politics. Humanity attended no councils. Their ships answered no hails. Ambassadors withdrew. Embassies shuttered. Entire human sectors went dark, as if the species itself had vanished. The galaxy mistook it for fear, for defeat. In Dominion halls, the admirals grew bold. See how quickly they break? Their words were wind. Their colonies were paper. Their silence is surrender. But the silence was not surrender. It was the sound of sharpening. Behind sealed shipyards orbiting red dwarfs, hulls were forged. In the dark slipstreams beyond mapped hyperspace, fleets assembled. Engines built for exploration were refitted for war. The chatter of humanity, its debates, its arguments, its voices, all fell away. For the first time in their history, humanity spoke with one will, and in that silence, the galaxy began to tremble. The crack of vengeance. The first sign came without warning. At the edge of Threx space, a patrol station went dark. The Dominion assumed pirates. But then another, and another. Outposts fell silent. Entire trade convoys disappeared. When rescue fleets arrived, they found only wreckage drifting in cold voids. Twisted metal still burning without a single survivor. No message accompanied the strikes. No declaration of war. Only silence. Until one night, when the Dominion's own homeworld skies filled with shadows. They were human dreadnoughts. Colossal constructs of black steel, their hulls etched with silence. No banners, no broadcasts, only the hum of weapon systems charging. The Threx had mocked human noise, but this was worse. Humanity's silence descended like judgment. Admiral Korath of the Dominion's Grand Fleet tried to broadcast his threats across every channel. But the only reply was a single human transmission, repeated on every frequency, every bandwidth, every pulse of light. You shattered our silence. Now hear ours break. And then the stars turned red. Fire-made flesh human fleets did not fight as the Dominion expected. They did not line up in grand formation or broadcast demands for surrender. They came like storms. Orbital strikes fell with precision. Not on cities, not on civilians, but on shipyards, fuel depots, command nodes. Dominion admirals watched in horror as centuries of power were carved away in days. Their fleets scrambled to respond, only to find human ships already behind them, inside their lines, tearing them apart from within. Human marines descended in drop pods like thunderbolts. Their armor was heavy, faceless, merciless. They made no boasts, gave no mercy. Entire Dominion garrisons were wiped out in hours, their screams silenced under the crushing advance of soldiers who moved like inevitability itself. For every life lost on Alethea, a world burned. For every child incinerated, a fleet was shattered. Humanity did not match atrocity with atrocity. They did not slaughter for pleasure. Their vengeance was colder than that. It was surgical, unrelenting, mathematical. The Dominion had called humans creatures of noise, but now they saw what silence could be. The silence of airless voids, of dead fleets, of entire systems gone dark. Empires shattered like glass. It took less than a year. The Dominion, once rulers of 100 systems, fractured. Whole sectors rebelled, emboldened by the sight of humans cutting down their masters. The Threx navy, once considered invincible, lay in wreckage across 5 constellations. At the heart of the Dominion, the High Emperor himself begged for negotiation. His plea echoed across the galaxy. "We yield, spare us." We did not understand. Humanity did not respond with words. Instead, they responded with silence, and then with fire. The Dominion's throne world was reduced not to ash, but to emptiness. Human fleets encircled the planet, and with quiet efficiency, they dismantled its defenses, its fleets, its command centers. The Emperor's final broadcast ended mid-sentence. The world itself was left intact, cities untouched, civilians unscathed. But every symbol of Dominion power was erased. It was not conquest. It was demonstration. The Dominion had cracked open humanity's silence, and like fragile glass, their empire shattered beneath it. The galaxy learns fear. When it was over, Earth did not claim new territory. They did not enslave nor demand tribute. Their fleets did not linger. They simply left. World after world watched as human dreadnoughts passed overhead, weapons silent, engines rumbling like distant storms, leaving only wreckage and silence in their wake, and so the whispers began. Do not provoke Earth. They waited, and they struck. They are patient beyond measure, but their vengeance is infinite. In the marketplaces of neutral worlds, merchants lowered their voices when human ships docked. In the courts of alien rulers, advisors warned against even the smallest slight to Terran envoys. Children of a dozen species grew up with tales of the silent ones, the humans who did not roar, who did not beg, who did not boast. Because when humanity spoke, it was not with words. It was with silence that cracked empires like glass. And in that silence, the galaxy learned a truth it would never forget. Humanity's patience is vast, but their retaliation is forever.